30 years ago, fake Rolexes were a joke. They were too light, too crude, and easy to spot. But today, a new breed of superfake is infiltrating the pre-owned market, engineered with such precision that even seasoned experts are being fooled. Classic checks, weight, crystal, even microscopic text are no longer enough. If the resale market cannot tell real from replica, what does that mean for every buyer, seller, or collector? The answer starts now. A counterfeit submariner arrives on the scale, and the numbers line up within 2 grams of the real thing. The case, cut from high-grade steel, claims to match Rolex's proprietary 904L alloy. Under the light, the lugs carry the same sharp lines and flawless geometry as a factory-fresh original. Mirror-polished flanks reflect with the same deep gloss, while the brushed surfaces on the lug top show even, consistent grain. No wavering, no orange peel, no telltale machining marks. The crystal is not plastic or cheap mineral glass. It is sapphire, just like the genuine article, with a cyclops lens that magnifies the date window convincingly. On the bezel, the ceramic insert delivers the right color. The engraved numerals are crisp, and the platinum-toned fill looks indistinguishable from what leaves Geneva. Even the clicks of the bezel feel solid and precise, with no slack or rattle. Every dimension, from case diameter to crown guards, matches factory specs. The weight, the profile, the tactile impression, each is engineered to pass the kind of surface-level checks that once filtered out fakes. In the hand, there is no obvious shortcut, no glaring flaw. These super fakes are built to defeat the very first line of defense, rendering old tricks like hefting a watch or glancing at the sheen obsolete. The exterior, at least, gives nothing away. Bracelet tells its own story. On the wrist, a solid link oyster bracelet from a superfake hugs the arm with the same balanced heft as the real thing. Genuine Rolex bracelets are famous for their smooth articulation and dense, rattle-free feel. Those traits are now duplicated with uncanny precision. The gap in weight is negligible, often less than 2 grams, and the links move with the same fluidity, each screw and end link machined to near-identical tolerances. Even the clasp delivers that signature, well-engineered snap, with a coronet logo so crisp it could pass under any dealer's loop. Attention turns to the dial. Under magnification, the indices are sharply applied, the hands polished and free of dust, and the luminous paint glows with a convincing green. The printing is dead on. Fonts, spacing, and even the subtle metallic sheen of the dial text are matched to factory standards. The inner rehaut, the angled ring between the dial and the crystal, bears the repeating word Rolex and the serial number, perfectly aligned with the 12 o'clock marker. No wobble, no drift, no misplaced coronet. Every visual and tactile check that once separated fact from fiction now falls flat. The bracelet, the dial, the rehaut, these are no longer quick tells. For anyone considering a pre-owned luxury watch, it is time to take authentication seriously. Like, subscribe, and comment below if you want to see a full movement teardown or learn what it really takes to spot a superfake in today's market. Inside the case, the illusion continues. A technician places a genuine date-just movement and a superfake clone side by side under the lab lights. At first glance, there is almost no difference. The rotor, the half-moon-shaped weight that winds the mainspring, spins with the same fluidity. Its profile, cutouts, and even the engraved Rolex script mimic the original down to the serifs and spacing. The bridges underneath, which support the gears and the balance, are shaped to match the factory silhouette, with decorative Geneva striping and polished edges echoing the real thing. Screw positions are carefully copied even where they serve no mechanical purpose, just to match the pattern of the authentic caliber. The engraved caliber number and the Geneva hallmarks appear on the same surfaces in the same style, and at a glance, the depth of the etching is convincing. For a watch with a display back or during a quick case back inspection, these details are designed to pass muster. A lab technician trained to spot inconsistencies points out how the rotor cutout geometry and the bridge contours are mapped directly from the genuine article. Even the anti-counterfeit micro-engraving on the rotor edge is present, though under magnification the finish may reveal tiny burrs or soft edges. To the naked eye, and even to a dealer in a hurry, these cosmetic clones can slide through undetected. The deception is intentional. Every visible surface is engineered to reassure, not to raise suspicion. Only under the microscope, or by comparing the exact depth and finish of the engravings, does the truth start to surface. For anyone relying on a quick glance at the movement, the risk of being fooled has never been higher. On the watchmaker's bench, the difference between genuine and superfake narrows to a razor's edge. The crown is unscrewed and a torque gauge is fitted to the stem. As the crown is wound, the resistance curve for a real Rolex stays smooth and even, each turn delivering a steady, dense feel. The curve, plotted live on the monitor, shows a consistent profile, no sudden spikes, no gritty patches. When the same test is run on the superclone, the numbers look similar at first, but then the graph stutters. Tiny jumps and dips betray inconsistent gearing and less stable power delivery, a subtle deviation invisible to the hand but clear in the data. Experienced watchmakers describe the clone's winding as just a shade lighter, sometimes with a faint dryness or uneven pulse that only emerges through careful measurement. Under the microscope, the balance wheel reveals its secrets. On a genuine Rolex, the microstella screws are perfectly machined, slot edges crisp, chamfers uniform, no burrs or raggedness even at 40 times magnification. The clone's screws, though close, show feathered edges and inconsistent slot depths. The finish on the screw heads catches the light unevenly, and a slight ovality appears where only a perfect circle should exist. The hairspring in the real movement glows with a deep, even blue. The replica's hairspring is a patchy, steely tone, sometimes marred by oxidation. A Daytona arrives for teardown. It is a hybrid, built from a genuine case and bracelet but fitted with a clone movement. The serial and reference numbers match the paperwork, and the case passes every surface check. Only with the back removed does the mismatch become clear. The bridge layout is subtly wrong, the engraving depth varies, and the balance architecture does not match the reference. This is the risk that now faces the market. Without full disassembly and microscopic inspection, even seasoned professionals can be misled. The evidence is decisive. In today's market, benchwork is not optional. It is the only way to know what is real. Customs officers unseal a crate at the port, and inside, row after row of counterfeit luxury watches, each branded, boxed, and ready for sale. In 2022, U.S. agents intercepted nearly 500 fake Swiss watches in just 2 shipments, with a combined street value of over $10 million if they had been genuine. In Mumbai, police in a single raid seized more than 5,000 counterfeit watches from one dealer. These are not isolated finds. Seizures are routine now. Industry estimates now place global counterfeit watch production at around 40 million units each year, which is double the combined output of the entire Swiss watch industry. More than half of all fake Swiss-branded watches are traced back to manufacturing hubs in China, especially Guangdong province. This industrial volume makes market infiltration unavoidable, particularly in the fast-growing secondary and pre-owned market. One customs official said they see shipments like this every month, hundreds, sometimes thousands of watches, often with paperwork and packaging that could fool a trained eye. The scale alone means market infiltration is no longer a rare event. It is a statistical certainty. Dealers now face a new reality. Every intake brings risk, and the cost of vigilance keeps climbing. A marketplace representative described how intake inspections that once took minutes now stretch past an hour for each high-value Rolex. Disassembly is no longer optional, and every watch must pass through a gauntlet of microscopic checks before it is cleared for resale. This extra scrutiny comes with a price. Fees for authentication and service have risen across the board, and some platforms have introduced mandatory inspection charges for all incoming consignments. Buyers feel the strain too. Final sale prices are softer than they were at the peak in 2022, with many popular models trading closer to retail or even below. Dealers report higher rejection rates, more returned watches, and a growing sense of distrust between buyers and sellers. In this climate, even established professionals admit that mistakes are inevitable, and every transaction carries more friction and more risk than ever before. Trust in luxury now hinges on scrutiny, not assumption. As replica makers outpace detection, every transaction becomes a test of vigilance. In today's market, authenticity isn't a given. It is a challenge. The line between real and replica has never been thinner. What side are you on?